not celebrate that man's death, not one fucking time, and has not. It doesn't seem to be a part of his character. And when people did celebrate it, they were immediately reprimanded for those views. And other opinions came out. Because I started listening to y'all, and if my shit changed, like, yeah, that's kind of not right. But still, I don't like the shit he said. So, as we say, don't come up here lying on people. For real, y'all playing with people's character, it shows your character when you straight up and down lie on people for entertainment. That's some real housewife shit.
I can tell you, anything happened to me, I promise you, my nigga.
I don't align with most of the things he said, but I'm not celebrating his death, and I'm not happy that man died the way he died. I'm celebrating his death.
But here's the thing, we shouldn't even have to say that, okay? Because Democrats have been trying to push for gun reform for a while. And it's only been MAGA and fucking Republicans that have been stalling it. So now that one of yours got shot by someone who also believes in the Second Amendment, what do you want Democrats to do? What do you want the left to do?
They don't want nothing. They just want to sow distance and shit like that. Said on the same page. He was crazy at the end. Said on the same page. He was crazy at the end. And on that, I'm gonna say the same thing about Jerry Jones when he died. He wasn't good. I'm not gonna celebrate him.
I don't like Trump now, and I said I don't like him after each.
I'll tell you why. Because when he started Turning Point and throughout the whole Turning Point career, he had to contend with he's not wanting him to come up there because of the type of rhetoric that he had. That's where the term snowflake comes from, when they were called the Democrat snowflakes, because they didn't want to debate them, because they didn't want this exact type of rhetoric on their schools. They ended up winning and were able to come on their schools. They ended up winning and were able to come. They were under the guise of free speech, the First Amendment. Here we are, when this same person has had an untimely demise. American citizens cannot say, what they feel. Whether it be they hated them, whether they celebrate. This is free speech in our country. And that's what I said the day he died. How they feel, whether they're gleeful or whether they're the other boy, the white boy, he's a Democrat, he cried. I made space for that. I have grace for that. However you feel, you get to feel, especially for people. And I stand by that.
It's not these people, it's just so fuck. But he has a right to say it. And I have a right to not give a fuck about it. But y'all just I don't know why y'all get off on this so much. Y'all always changing. Like, I can't articulate my thoughts right now, but just my advice, don't even, because you know what they're about. I didn't been in here 2-3 weeks and seen Manfinity's character. I didn't see Omarion's character. Like, I platform these niggas.
The niggas is dangerous. The niggas is the hall monitors, the tattletales, like, bro, you go to the pit, and that's why I don't like him, and I didn't like him yesterday, because that type of shit is dangerous. You doing that, trying to say, you say, and then every time you get asked, you can't point to nothing. You just out here trying to throw niggas under the bus.
And that shows something else too. That shows he has no sense of fucking community. Because I can guarantee you, this was a more fair-skinned space, he wouldn't do that. But he will do that to black people. Or once.
I think he knew you didn't say that. He's just trying to throw you under the bus. That's what I really believe.
Yeah, he want to put, like, he did the same. I watched him do the same shit with Brooklyn. And the thing is, people can say what they want to say, bro. Like, they can say, the administration can say, we're looking at y'all's social media or whatever. And that's just it. Now, what I said is, I'm not. That's not my style. I ain't into scary movies. I'm not into gruesome shit like that. And I mean, it just ain't my style to watch somebody. That shit was crazy. But I'm not about to lie and say, "Oh my God, I was trying." I don't think nobody should be taken away from their kids. I care about kids, so that's a soft spot for me. So I don't really fuck with that. But I'm not about to lie. I was just watching a nigga like 2 days earlier, thinking like, damn, his opinions is real fucked up. It's real shit.
What's crazy is most people that be putting their mouth on him don't even know who he is. They just learned about him 3 days ago. Never even followed the guy. They take clips from somebody chopping up what he said. It seems as if it's more it's harmful and worse than what he actually said. And that's the clips that people are digesting and thinking they know all about him and they're gonna call him racist and shit like that. The propaganda is really heavy. I've seen Jamal Bryant do it. Shame on the pastor. Shame on him. He's bringing shame to the faith. I watched the video where he chops up Kirk's words to say stuff that he did not say in one sentence, taking parts throughout the video, putting it all together in one video to make it seem as if he's saying, you can take my word. I'm making one continuous statement when I'm not. And that's exactly what Jamal Bryant did. And he's proliferating that shit across social media. He ought to be ashamed of himself. It's ridiculous.
Hold up. You take yourself seriously. Hold up. No. You know what's so funny about that? Wasn't that the same thing that the super PACs that was supporting Trump doing to Kamala Harris?
There's shame on them too. It rains on the just and the unjust. It doesn't matter who they are. You don't do that. And you know what? They're not. It's one thing if he was alive. Wait. 1 second. It's one thing to do that when somebody's alive and they can respond to it, they can defend themselves. It's real grimy to do that shit when that person has been assassinated. What type of human being does that shit? Like, you gotta be a cowardly, weak imbecile, like impossible of doing anything for yourself to have to chop up somebody else's words, especially when they're dead and they can't defend themselves.
In the world.
How shameful, bro. That's the worst. And to make matters even worse, you're proliferating that shit across social media to get people to convince them that he's worse than what he is. Nobody's perfect. Everybody says stupid shit all the time. And I don't agree with a lot of the stuff that comes out of people's mouths, particularly Kirk. He said some stuff that were problematic. He said some stuff that was probably didn't need to be said. But for you to chop up his words and put it out there for people that never heard of him before to say, oh yeah, this guy's racist, when he can't even defend himself, you're not worthy. You're not worthy of having a debate. They couldn't debate him when he was alive. They wouldn't go to his face. Jamal Bryant and the others wouldn't go to his face and debate him when he had an open invitation for anybody to come. But now that he's dead, you want to become all prolific, and you want to come off mic and you want to be all strong and say, oh, he's racist and all this stuff. Why you didn't say that to his face when he was there?
Just respond to some of them. If somebody don't respond, I want Michael or you, whoever gonna respond.
TC, a young man by the name of Parker, he was there to debate him. I mean, they show up.
Great, no, more power to Kirk. More power to Parker.
They will never be shown on air though, because Parker usually drags the shit out of him. Okay, in all his points, which is very unfortunate. We don't get to see it, but Parker on video saying how sad he was for his family. He is also very much a progressive and a leftist. He got a lot of lick back or things we need to do better as a people. So this thing that you have was saying that leftists are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. It is not that. Some of us feel indifferent and some of us empathize, but nobody is celebrating that. And that is the narrative that a lot of you maggots push, and that is inappropriate. That right there is inappropriate.
Well, more power to Parker. I don't know who you're talking about calling maggots and stuff like that. That must be more of that. You don't know who I am, respectfully. You certainly don't know who I am. And that's that propaganda again. That's telling you that somebody that you don't know. You don't know me. So don't call me something that you don't know.
Hey, hold up, man. Hold up. Take control of the stage. Look, this is what we're doing. If y'all gonna have a squabble, that's fine. It's gonna be one-on-one. Ray, mute up. Let the other person finish. No, they were going back and forth, so you might have to come in afterwards. I gave you a chance earlier. Juicy responded. So hold up. Just respect the stage, please, Ray. Juicy, if you're gonna respond back and forth with TC, that's fine. Wait till he's finished with his submission, then give yours. And when y'all done, then we'll resume the conversation. That way, otherwise, it's just everybody talking over everybody. It's just chaos. You gotta have structure.
Okay, Gemini, can I say this?
Now let them after them. Let them conclude their dialogue, and then it'll go right back to you, brother. Go ahead, TC.
Very characteristic of the intolerant left. Somebody that doesn't know what she's talking about. Claims to call me maggot and MAGA. Doesn't know who I am. Doesn't know me personally. I never once addressed this, what's her name? Juicy. I've never addressed this juicy person before in my life.
Well,
I don't know her. Excuse me. I don't know her. I've never met her before. I don't know who she is. And she seems to know I'm a maggot and a MAGA and all of this other stuff.
You are
It's uninformed. It's uninformed. And it's emblematic of what we've seen from the left over and over and over again. And America's tired, which is why the left continues to lose election after election after election. Your presuppositions are grounded in ignorance, but you're so loud and proud with the ignorance, and you're so happy to display the ignorance that you don't see the ignorance for what it is. It's folly, it's foolishness. America laughs at you. But nonetheless, she wants to, that's fine. I'm going to address Parker. Good for Parker. There are decent people on the left that gets chastised from their party when they do decent things because they're not anarchists. The party has been, this movement has been taken over by anarchists, Antifa people who wants to assume a position of authority, taking it by force when they don't realize they don't have the strength behind them to take anything. They want to use violence. Violence will be met upon them. Utah is seeking the death penalty against Robinson.
Okay.
Good for you. Congratulations, left. You put forward your champion. He will die at the hands of the state. I don't know who this Juicy is. I don't know who this and I don't know who this other guy is either that's talking, barking across the stage and talking and threatening people with lawsuits and shit. He's going to beat somebody's ass. Real big of these people.
Respect the stage, TC. One mic on Juicy.
Wonderful. So Charlie Kirk did not die from an Antifa, okay? He died from a right-wing nut job who was about an impressionable age, was white. He wasn't trans, he wasn't an immigrant, and he was very much in a Republican state. Okay, let's start there. The violence is coming from your neck of the woods, you fucking weirdo. And yes, I know you. I know you from Louisville. TC stands for total cuck. It stands for total clown. That is you, my dear asshole of a foolish young man. Okay? Thanks, right? Yes.
Okay. So you said it was just as repulsive for the Trump super PACs to top up Kamala Harris's words, but I know without a shadow of a doubt you didn't say nothing against that.
It's amazing to me how many people know me here. You guys don't know me. You don't know me. I don't know who these people are.
I'm going to make sure you don't get interrupted as well. I do the same for you, bro. Go ahead, finish what you're saying, all right?
So, this is motherfucker made me lose my train of thought. But as I was saying, I can guarantee you didn't say anything about them chopping up her words. on your PTRs that you're a Cowboys fan, so I don't want to know you at all.
Well, at least this gentleman brings some perspective to the conversation that's devoid of personal attacks and ad hominem. So I'm willing to engage with him. I'm not a Cowboys fan. Dak Prescott favors me, so people call me Dak all the time. I use that in my PTR to make fun of Dak Prescott. Number two, the point about the elections, sir, what election are you referring to? The last election we had in this country, federal general election, was in 2024, okay? Donald Trump won that election. Previous to that, you had the midterms in 2022. In 2022, Republicans took more elections than Democrats did by volume, more seats and more, just by sheer number, more elections. State houses went to Republicans. Democrats net lost seats. State houses. In the House, Democrats picked up a few more seats in 2022, but they still lost the majority. So what election in 2022 did they win? Hakeem Jeffries, hold on. Hakeem Jeffries is not. Hold on.
Train of thought.
Well, I'm giving you. Listen, brother. If my facts is what's making you lose your train of thought, just write them down. And they are 100% correct. Did the Democrats win House in 2020? Did the Democrats win the House in 22? No. We said the last election. That's 2022. No. Before, yes, 2024 they lost. 2022 they lost.
I specifically was talking about, and I believe I said the last presidential election before the last one.
No, you didn't say presidential. But if you corrected it now, fine. If you're criticizing what I said that Democrats said liberals and the left is scared to lose election. I'm talking about in recent history. I'm talking about 2024. I'm talking about 2022. I'm talking about even before that 2021. Continue to lose elections.
But you stopped at 2020. Okay, that's fine. You do know that historically, the party that's in power in the executive branch usually loses the midterm election. Like historic. That's a historical fact. Because the power that's in party usually rests while the party that's not in power, they get to sit up and just make accusations and criticize the president. So they usually do really well in the midterm elections after that. You do know that, right?
You do know historically presidents typically enjoy 2 terms. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
So why didn't this party win 2 terms?
Because it wasn't the same president, and Joe Biden probably has early onset dementia.
I agree with you. And so it was you guys that put him up. And it was you guys that put up Kamala Harris. Even with his early onset dementia, Kamala Harris. She was. You correct. You're right. You're correct on that. I won't quibble with that. You're 100% correct. You didn't elect her. So why was she selected?
Because she was the vice president.
And no, she didn't have to take on the vice. She didn't have to take on. She was vice president.
No, you asked me why was she selected.
I agree, but my question, your answer was because she was the vice president. So it assumes that there was some sort of obligation for her to take on the nomination simply because she's the vice president.
So you know, historically, vice presidents after the president's second term usually run for president and usually wins that party's nomination.
No, they don't. We haven't had a vice. No, you're wrong. We've not had a vice president turn president in the last 30 to 40 years.
I didn't say that.
No, ma'am, respectfully, he said after the presidency, the vice president.
I didn't say that.
All right, so what did you say?
They win the party's nomination.
No, you didn't say win the party's nomination. You said wins the presidency.
Okay, I'm done.
All right, when was the last time we had a vice president? When was the last time we had a vice president win the party's nomination?
Al Gore.
How many years ago was that? Al Gore was Clinton's vice president.
5 years, bro. No,
Exactly. That's not recent political history. We've had 4 presidents since Bill Clinton.
Okay.
You presidential elections before.
Okay, let's just set this. Let's just set this.
What's going to be Dick Cheney, number one.
Dick Cheney didn't win. Biden didn't win. Pence didn't win. Okay, Harris didn't win.
Okay. Yeah.
Harris did win, I guess, but she was selected.
This is why I can't. This is why I say I cannot talk to these people. He is twisting my words around. He knows what I said, and if I didn't say it clear enough, he knows what I mean. Okay, let's go from here. Al Gore, and then Dick Cheney. I know Dick Cheney didn't win because Dick Cheney didn't run. Dick Cheney was never in a position to do that. He wanted to be vice president. That's all he wanted to be. So then the next election after the Bushes was Obama and McCain. So there was no vice presidential nominee to run. Okay, bam. So then Obama's vice president was Biden. He did not win immediately because we know there was a sweetheart deal for Hillary to be the next nominee. Bam. Hillary versus Trump. Trump won. Mike Pence was not in a position because the right wanted to kill him on January 6th.
You've got vice presidents that ran and did not win the nomination of their party.
Very few after Al Gore ran. The only one that actually ran was Pence and Biden.
He's just a low quality rapper who's got a bribe rap room so he can win the rap room.
But he did win.
How long have you been talking about his vice president? Stop it. He
not vice president and
Long
vice
time only
president.
been open this room. I don't know.
I just explained to you that we all know Hillary Clinton had the sweetheart deal, and it was even in
Yeah, you guys reading the gospel?
For the sake of argument, I'm willing to concede that on the left, we've had more Democratic candidates, Democratic nominees from the previously vice presidents. I don't think we need to beat this into
to beat the horse because I already.
So we don't need to beat the horse on that. What's your point? The point I'm making.
It's 2025. Grow the fuck up, fatty. Go to the gym and read a book, dummy.
You have a band of misfits that get together and criticize, but you lose
Yeah, I
elections.
hear this bullshit. Do these women ever rest?
Loses elections. Every side consistently loses elections based on the temperature of the country and how they feel like the president is doing. And as I said,
Trump had 2 terms. Listen to me. Trump had 2 terms.
Against girls.
Stop it.
historically,
that's what it says. You can only win against girls.
Trump had 2 terms. Obama had 2 terms. Clinton had 2 terms. Bush had 2 terms.
Historically, the power that holds the executive branch loses their midterm elections. Historically, I can't think of very many times where it didn't happen. But what are we talking about? You saying it like that's some new news. We know how the country goes. Like, president's in power. The other party gets to do nothing but criticize everything they do and they lose the midterms. But somehow they usually win re-election. Okay, so what's the point? So I just shitted on your point that the left is losing elections. The right loses elections. I can guarantee you in these midterms, the right is going to lose a lot of elections as well.
No, they won't. You guys agree that you're all like, you guys agree that like you're in a failed democracy, right? Where the right and the left argue thinking that it matters when it's really the rich and the poor. Like you guys are literally slaves in America. You're poor, don't. No. All right, fine.
I don't know what he's talking about. I think we had, this wasn't the highest level debate, but at least it was respectful. I conceded a few points, graciously actually, and that's emblematic of somebody that doesn't have to rely on ignorance to make their points, like the previous speaker. I at least have respect for the guy that he actually was able to bring some legitimate points. Again, it wasn't a high-level conversation, but it wasn't riddled with a whole bunch of ad hominem attacks.
Do you see how you have to give yourself credit? Like you have to I look like this stuff. Like all of this is coming from.
All right, so I see now we're going back to the ad hominem. This is the left. Ignorance is the uninformed, going on belligerent. smarter than me. He knows he's not smarter than me. I've backed him up plenty of times, and that should say more about me than it says about my college, right? The fact that you don't even have respect for my college, and I still play on a regular basis.
You don't have to shut up.
Here goes the belligerence again, right? The belligerence. Here's the belligerence.
Back up. Here we go. That big ass shit.
The belligerence.
Because you don't
Here we go.
shut up.
The belligerence. Here we go with the belligerence. There's no substance. There's no substance. There's no defensive positions. There's only belligerence. This is what you have to gain from the left.
You're right.
Absolutely.
You're done. Shut up. Next. Manfred, do you want to get ate the fuck up? You came up here to get beat up too?
I will concede that it wasn't the most intelligent debate, but that's because the person I was debating wasn't very intelligent.
Imagine a bitch from Liberty College coming and playing with you. Bitch, if you don't go get my fries and leave me the fuck alone.
You really a wedding planner, TC?
Yes, a wedding planner. A whole wedding planner. The epitome of masculinity is a wedding planner.
This is what the left does. They spin out lies.
What they do is fold your ass up. Yeah,
Anybody can look me up.
I can poke
Anybody can look me up. My company is a public company.
We graduated from Liberty
My
College.
company is a public company.
Nothing.
I'm happy to
All
put
of
up
the
my
standards
credentials.
you expect for everyone else, you have not accomplished them.
Anybody, and now he wants to shout me down. Now he wants to shout me down.
You went to Liberty College. You went to school.
My credentials are very clear. I make 4 times the amount of money that he does, and I'm happy to say about what I do.
Salary?
I'm not a wedding
So
planner,
what's my salary?
and I have wedding
What's my
planners
salary?
for me, but I
don't even like that because you're gonna have to.
I guarantee you.
Okay, so what's my salary?
Why don't you tell me what it is? You tell me what it is.
You said you make 4 times more than me.
I guarantee you I do.
That shows you what they're there. You don't get no basic.
Let's put up the tax return.
You just said.
Let's look at the tax return. Let's look at the bank statements. Let's look at the bank statements.
Okay, stupid bitch. You said I make 4 times more than he does. So how much do I make? Because that would indicate that you knew how much I make. Mike's on you, bitch. All right, thank you. I'm embarrassing nagas tonight. If anyone else would like to participate, I'll keep these bitches on mute. Bring it on up. I'm up for a while. That's you. That's Omari. I put all you bitches on mute. 4 tires on flat hoe.
Period. Can we just take a moment to compliment Jazz's PTR? It's very beautiful. I don't know what it reminds me of, but it's pretty done.
Them 2 dildos coming out of his head. I know those are double horns.
Where your brain at?
I just thought it was a dildo. I'm a little bit visually impaired. That's why I be.
Sorry.
I got the cataract and glaucoma.
It just never feels with them like they never have any type of facts, any type of movement in real life. It's always just, just say how you feel, and then don't want to get roasted. But you said all this stuff, everybody's demonic, everybody's this. Then when I flame your ass up, then it's like, oh, bad homonyms. Yes, bitch, I'm going to flame you. And I don't give a fuck how you feel about it.
Y'all see why I'm atheist, though, right?
He's fake ass Christians. He ain't touched the church. When the last time you been in church?
The hate that I feel coming off like people on the right is one of the reasons why I stand so solid in my religious views. I will give TC a compliment. I look at those PCRs. This chick is pretty. She's pretty. A little too light skin for me. I like mine chocolate. Look, she pretty. I like mine to be like looking like she came straight out the motherland, like looking like she from Sudan. But yours is pretty. That nigga in the chat, what he say? I come to Clubhouse to listen to Americans Like I like watching Asian women drive poorly.
That's Jeremy. Another type of crazy. But I also wanted to say, y'all not like, man, you're not giving your boy justice. You keep trying to blame the left or the right. Like, why does his political affiliation matter? If you want justice for him, it shouldn't matter who, like what political ideology they have. You should just want justice. I mean, I didn't even like Charlie Kirk, but I think that the person who did is a psycho and needs to be brought to justice, whether they're left or right. They need to be off the street. But y'all too busy trying to say, oh, they were blue, they were red. Bitch, they was crazy.
Just to your point, I didn't even know. 1 second. I didn't even know that there were different versions of MAGA. So I thought they were just under one umbrella. Like imagine one MAGA who is a Kirk fan is upset with the ones who are Nick Fuentes fans, and the Nick Fuentes fan shot the Kirk fan. Like yikes on a bike. What's going on?
They should make that violence and FBI files just like gang violence. They should have motherfucking accelerators on their sentences because they could be put as a gang violence. The one thing that and because Kennedy said Coach Lee said this is even though in my hometown, in my neighborhood and stuff like that, there might be people I know who do something stupid. And that nigga needs to be locked up. One dude, he killed a little Indian man that worked at a corner store. I was like, yeah, that's my homie, or was my homie. But he needs 45 years to sit down and think about what the fuck he did, or life. I don't want people to not be able to say what the fuck they want to say and think about repercussions from a crazy person. That's not
crazy. And that's what I said. Me not liking him as a human, I just want to see. I just think about that happening to somebody I know. That's not nothing I want to see. I mean, fuck him, and his beliefs or whatever. But live your life, bro. If you want to be racist, you got kids, raise them or whatever. Do that. That does not mean I don't have to like a motherfucker. Y'all gotta stop this shit, and y'all gotta stop this disingenuous whole he needs to be brought to justice. That's what I agree on. He does need to be brought to justice. But all this, he was mad, and he saying he was a groper. I don't even know what a fucking groper is. I just found out who Nick Fuente was a couple of weeks ago, and I just found out that he was as racist as he was a couple of days ago. That's the thing. I don't care about y'all like y'all care about us. Y'all come in here, y'all say these things to black people, knowing what black people go through every fucking day. If you want to act blind, cool, bro, cool. You can't get mad when we call it out and say it's a racist act. Nobody's trying to fight you. Nobody's doing none of that. Just like nobody was trying. Well, no black people was trying to fight. What's his name? Charlie Kirk. I never really seen nobody black have a reaction to him. But y'all come on here and y'all make y'all say that whatever he is to y'all lessen his value when y'all do the whole, okay, this person is a leftist, a radical leftist, or whatever. Who the fuck cares? He's a killer, and you're gonna be real tight when we find out he has no political affiliation, and it was just on some he's just a crazy person.
The thing about it is, why the fuck Charlie Kirk? Do these niggas realize how many white supremacists are still walking around here with platforms like Gavin McInnes and Richard Spencer and fucking David Duke? I have a video of a young nigga, a YN, on Beyonce's internet talking about why he supports David Duke. And he sounds so much like a lot of people that be on these stages. The same bullshit about niggas pathology, the same bullshit about the First Amendment, and he's talking about fucking David Duke. I saw a video with a young black boy, like 15 years old. Like, I don't even think he was 15. I think he was probably like 12. Talking about the only thing Charlie Kirk was a soldier for Christ. Now, y'all heard that video that I played earlier, that I sent earlier, saying that he wasn't even on that super religious bullshit when he just came out, but all of a sudden his white supremacy and the fucking Christian and the Christian doctrine. So I think y'all will want to play this and then tell me who have you heard these same words from? I don't know how to play sound, so I'm gonna post it. But if you play it, tell me who have you heard these same motherfucking words from? From this nigga talking about David.
I said it earlier that Richard Spencer is a carbon copy of David Duke in the 80s. And I think the only reason I was able to mention is because I was born in the early 80s and grew up right on the in that area. You know what I mean? So it's like this shit. And David Duke is George Wallace. The shit repeats itself. And that's why they don't want us teaching real, because it'll put people on the guard about shit like that when they see it. So, like I said, I have changed my stance. It is sad that he died. I hate that. But he was still a racist. He said racist things. I might have agreed with 3% of the things he said. But the other part of that was brain rot that infiltrated the minds of young people.
Period. It's a lot of churches that like you and I said, I've seen some videos on Larry B. Live's channel of some of these white Christian preachers, you know, bigging up Charlie Kirk as some type of I don't know, fucking missionary. And I'm like, do I need to post people campaign videos from David Duke saying the same motherfucking shit, the same fucking rhetoric? Exactly the same. Exactly the same. From affirmative action to immigration and being replaced. Like, all of these things are exactly the same script. But these are now soldiers for Christ. Christ didn't talk like that about nobody.
Knock those walls down and you can do the same thing. You can say the same thing in the Islamic world, is you wrap your hate up in religion. Because the one thing that is near and dear to so many people's hearts on this earth is their religion. So you cloak your racism and your bigotry and your biases in religion, it makes it an easier
point, they're not really mad that the man is dead. They're mad that his message might die. That's why they're scrambling to hush up the leftists and the progressives. They don't want that message not to continue. So they have to scramble what they can. The excuse initially was they thought it was a leftist, even though he died in a red state. Like, just by pure logic, right? An all white or majority white state, white group, and Christian and Republican leftists. I mean, it was so far-fetched to begin with. So, they have to scramble. That message is very poignant to them, and they want it to continue to anyone's demise.
But Juicy, he's already done his job. Like, this guy's message is only going to be amplified because it's mainstream. Like I said, like, you don't even know the young men in your family may have been being influenced by this dude. I'm gonna post again, I think y'all should play it because it's sad, but it's like a 12-year-old kid talking about Charlie Kirk and how people are wrong for critiquing him and being, like, again, I guess he's in this pipeline because nobody celebrate him, but I wish I would if motherfucking shed a tear for somebody that said things like black women
they don't use logic, you know. It's really, and I don't like the guy's message. Do I want him to die? No, I'm not saying for somebody to some Republicans come after me. No, but his message surely stirred up. I would call the backwoods of America, or whatever you want to call it, an ideology that should have been left in the past. That's what I'm going to say. And the way that he talked about women, or how women should essentially, I'm trying to paraphrase, or have a place in the household, nothing else. And but just his message is not something that I would stand for. His message is not something of Christ, seriously, because not all churches and folks are with this mess. Others have spoke out about it. A church here just opened up that celebrated, as far as in another, I would say, what do you call it, like a celebration of kind of life, or something like that, a celebration of life. There is that church out here, they are heavily leaning to the right. Mercy Culture is a church out here that leans to the right. I haven't seen any literature from them. They, but it's been pins and needles. I told y'all the other night in this room that somebody got in a fight and arguing at a restaurant here about it, and so it's just a lot of this stuff, y'all. It's concerning, but I don't have to celebrate or any of that. But I can also understand I don't want nobody to die.